What is the ideal anchor profile spread for a page? Let's say I want to rank for best hat in the US. How many times I can use that anchor text that's still considered safe other than brand and naked anchor? So you're talking about using how many times can you use exact match anchors? And it doesn't have to be just brand and naked anchors. You could also do generic anchors like click, here or this article, stuff like that. You could also do long tail anchors or variations of the exact match. There's a lots of stuff you could play in here. You could also do topical anchors, which are generally more like general. So for example, best hat in the US, a topical anchor could be just this hat or just hat even. It's definitely not an exact match, and it's super general, so it's almost like a generic anchor. So there's lots of other stuff you could do. But there's really there's no guideline here. There's no, this is the way things should be number. When in doubt, just like everything else, what you can do is just pop in some of your the top ranking pages for that term and go see what their ratio is like. But in general, it's going to be pretty low. You don't want too many exact match anchors in there. You want to have more of the natural stuff, and then definitely get it in there, but don't overdo it. So that's my best advice is always just to see kind of what the other people in your niche are doing, and just kind of go from there. And ballpark it. You don't have to be exact or anything. It's not super important. The most important thing is that you don't go crazy with it, right? That you don't over optimize. So with exact match anchors, less is better than more. Get in different keyword variations, get in the long tails, get in some topical stuff if you're in doubt. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, there's different recipes like, Chris was alluding to with check out your competition and what they're doing that are going to get you into different SERPs or that are going to look like what's natural for particular SERPs. The issue is that when you consider the type of backlinks that different websites get and stuff, then there's a lot of different variables like power, trust, etc., that are going to go into the value of that link that's using said anchor, etc. So just to give you an idea of what I do, which there might be SEOs that are, quote, more efficient than me, but this is how I like to build. And typically I'm concerned with having longevity in the SERPs. I don't go back to exact match anchors very often. So let's say hypothetically that over the course of a couple months, I've hit a inner page with 10 links. Of those, I don't imagine I'd repeat a money anchor. But maybe one time. And that's only if I see somebody doing it a lot or that I see some movement, maybe I want to prod at it. But typically, I'm trying to use money anchors as little as possible, using kind of higher authority, more powerful types of backlinks, not PBNs. I actually like to use all natural stuff, typically to the homepage with PBN, but I will use a higher end guest post or a higher end niche edit to try and influence a money anchor. And so those are kind of like the type of things that I like to look at when trying to decide what kind of anchors to use. And then using time, I'm just going to kind of see what that particular page is doing in the SERPs. Now, this is easier for me, I would say, than maybe the person asking this question because, and this is an assumption. So let's just talk about it. If you're newer to SEO and you find this term and you really, really want to rank for it, that obsession can lead to your demise too by over optimizing a specific inner page or getting too obsessed with trying to hit money anchors when really time sometimes is the only thing you need. A lot of times my backlinking campaign might hit a particular inner page 3 months before I ever see movement. And over the course of that 3 months, I'm not repeating more links to that inner page. I'm strategically hitting other inner pages. And then eventually And once I see some kind of movement in the SERP, I'll come back, reassess what I think that particular inner page could use to bump it up a little bit more, and then I'll go from there, right? So I take a broader position about trying to attack SERPs, and I'm looking more at growing the entire asset or money side as a whole, if that makes sense.
I want to add one more thing as well. So you can have more exact match anchors than just one for one inner page. So,
Mm-hmm.
example, best hat in US, maybe, another high volume keyword for that would be best hat US, or just best hat or popular hat in US. Maybe these are all important keywords for that page. Um, and it's important to say that if you just hit each one of those one time, that's still very unnatural because those are all different exact match anchors.
Variations, yeah.
And we saw this recently on a site that we started building links to, and they had done a bunch of link building before they came to us, and it was having some trouble, and that's exactly what they had done. And so when you looked at it right away, they had a bunch of natural stuff up near the top, most of the that was being reused over many times. And so at first you're like, oh, this looks pretty good, but then you start scrolling down and it's just like exact, just a ton of different exact match anchors that are slightly different. So they weren't really using one of them too many times, but they were using tons of exact match anchors a decent amount of times. And so yeah, definitely be careful with that as well. Get in your other stuff as well. And like Nick was saying, you could save your big important anchor text for some big beefy links that you buy just to try to kind of get more bang for your buck out of them. But yeah, anything else to add on that, Nick?
Yeah, no, not really. Just I guess yeah. Well, let's talk about. No, yeah, no, we're good.
But yeah, when in doubt, look at competitors, kind of take an average or whatever, and it's definitely better to be safe rather than to go too hard, right?
Well, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying,
Okay.
look at competitors and go. If you're not sure, it's better to be safe than to go too hard. You're not going to get yourself in trouble because you have too few exact match anchors, but you can get yourself in trouble for having too many. So, yeah, just don't go crazy.
A lot of people, I think, dismiss the value of having a massive authority figure of a site behind you, and how over the years, my preference from being very targeted in the SERPs has shifted towards wanting to be a authority figure in a particular niche or sub
You mean
niche
like an authority site?
category. Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So predominantly, I'm focused every month on building the homepage up, especially in the form of backlinks, natural anchors, etc. And what you'll come to find as you do that, as you need less towards the inner pages, especially if you're using optimized content, like, all my SOP is surfer optimized content using outlines that I create based on SERPs that I'm looking at. If you're doing that, you'll come to find that a lot of times you might auto rank without backlinks, just based on majority of your budget over a long period of time.
Just to interrupt you real quick,
hitting.
I see some people they say like, hey, I ranked this keyword without links, and then you go and you're like, well, what's the website? You type in the website and it says massive authority site, and you're like,
Massive,
that's not
yeah.
without links. So like, sure, that page doesn't have any
That
links,
page.
but yeah, you have this massive authority site. So yeah, that's
Mhm. Yeah, so I think what happens with some newer SEOs is they get really obsessed with, they want to get into profit really quick. They want that money return. They want to be able to roll that. The fact of the matter is, if you roll things safely into building optimized content, and strategically building up the hub pages, and the home page is a hub page to that particular asset, then it takes less links, and you can use them more efficiently later on down the road to get rankings out of those. And so the juice is worth the squeeze towards the end there if you've got a long-term goal set with what you're building. And that over the years is, I mean, I don't shift from that. I don't build sniper sites anymore that are directed at, specific SERPs for X amount of time. They just don't work as well. And once you've got the budget and you can conceptualize a goal set for at least 6 months, then building something like that is in the end far more efficient and makes more money than the opposite.
So yeah, bit of an extreme tangent there, talking about authority sites now. But yeah, don't go crazy with your exact match. Get the natural stuff in. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for links to our blog for more info on this topic, along with a bunch of other cool stuff like case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed the video. Thanks and happy ranking.